Hello everyone, it's my great honor to share our proposal to you. There are four students in our team. They want to Zhang Tingting, Yuan Jie, and Ling Nan. All of us come from School of Management. Here are our metric members. Our team chose the topic SDG Goals 4. The title of our proposal is Research on the Influence of Welfare Triangle Theory on Rural Left-Behind Children's Willingness to Go to School. Now, let me introduce to you. There are four parts in our proposal. There are introduction, literature review, theoretical framework and hypothesis development, and research methodology. Okay, let's begin. The first part, introduction. Background. Education has become an important source for individuals or countries to gain a dominant position, and it's an important way to improve people's comprehensive quality. It's an important cornerstone for social progress. At present, the differences in China's development make a large number of rural neighbors transfer to cities with a high economic development level. This data suggests that their children were much more likely to be left behind. The family situation of left-behind children in rural areas has changed greatly, which will have a bad impact on their education. In China, the restriction of entrance examination system, insufficient investment in education, and uneven distribution of educational resources not only lead to the unfair phenomenon of education in urban and rural areas, but also highlight the problem of education and the social stratification, which is most obvious in the education stage of junior high school. The problem statements. Left-behind children are one of the three groups of children with difficulties in China, and their education quality restricts the balanced development of Chinese education, which is also the key to fairness of Chinese basic education. The goal of the government is to improve the educational situation of left-behind children and their willingness to go to school. However, the theory of reading uselessness is widely popular in rural areas of China. As left-behind children, they are weak in parental supervision and guidance, and their willingness to receive education and learning performance are affected. In addition, due to the lack of educational resources in rural areas, many left-behind children choose to drop out of school and go out to work, resulting in poor education at high school and above. In 2020, the cumulative drop-out rate of the whole middle school stage in rural areas is as high as 33%. To solve this problem, this paper studies the influence factors of left-behind children's willingness to go to school, combined with the welfare triangle theory. This paper discusses from three aspects: market factors, the state policy intervention, and the family background. Okay, talk about something about research questions. Based on the above problem statements, this paper will solve the following three problems. The first one, what is the influence of market factors on rural left-behind children's willingness to go to school? The second is what's the influence of national policy factors on rural left-behind children's willingness to go to school? The third one, what is the influence of family background factors on rural left-behind children's willingness to go to school? So, based on the above research problems, this research will achieve the following research objectives. The first one, study the relationship between market factors and the rural left-behind children's willingness to go to school. The second, to study the relationship between national policy factors and the rural left-behind children's willingness to go to school. And the last one, to study the relationship between family background factors and the rural left-behind children's willingness to go to school. Now pay attention to significance of the study. Theoretical significance. Rural left-behind children's education is closely related to education equity and the healthy growth of children. Improving the enrollment rate of rural children in junior middle school is an important strategy to improve people's comprehensive quality and promote social progress. The practical significance. The ultimate goal of studying the rural left-behind children's willingness to go to school is to minimize the differences among groups as much as possible. The rural left-behind children's willingness to go to school is an important issue related to rural education and the education of vulnerable groups. This study has a great practical guiding role in solving the problem. Now, let's pay attention to the part 2, literature review. There are three influencing factors of rural left-behind children's willingness to go to school. They are family factors, political factors, personal physical factors. Some related concepts should be known. What is the left-behind children? And the other is what is the willingness to go to school? The welfare triangle theory is very important in our paper. On the basis of Low's theory, Evers, a German political science professor, constructed an ideal welfare triangle paradigm, which holds that the three departments of the welfare triangle, namely the state, the market, and the family, have their own corresponding organizations, values, and social member relationships. The last part is a summary of literature review. There are various limitations and deficiencies in the current research after studying the literature. The first one, most studies have found that the left-behind children were well educated in primary school, but left-behind children in junior high school have serious psychological problems, school willingness, and dropping out of school, and the causes of this phenomenon have been further discussed. However, few studies have involved the rural left-behind children's willingness to continue to receive education in junior high school and what factors affect them. The second, the research perspective needs to be perfected and enriched. At present, there are more researchers from the national and family perspectives, and less researchers from the market perspective. Okay, talk something about part 3, theoretical framework and hypothesis development. The theoretical framework. The education of left-behind children is related to their chances of getting ideal jobs and incomes, and their ability to resist poverty and reach a certain social status. Their personal development and choices are influenced by educational welfare. Educational welfare is a kind of social welfare. Compared with general social welfare, education welfare has far-reaching social efforts. According to the welfare triangle theory, welfare comes from family, market, and the state, and their interaction and the connection constitutes the supplier of social welfare. The state, family, and market can all influence individual education. They will also have an impact on the left-behind children's willingness to go to school. In this study, the left-behind children's willingness to go to school is a dependent variable, which is influenced by three independent variables: the state factors, market factors, and family factors. These three variables will also influence each other. Let's talk about hypothesis development. National education welfare policies, such as exempting poor students from tuition fees, providing living allowances, improving the quality of education in rural areas, and encouraging college students to support education, having reduced the influence of family economic situation and the negative intervention behavior of parents on left-behind children's willingness to go to school. Therefore, this study makes the following assumptions. Hypothesis 1. The national education welfare policy has a significant positive impact on the left-behind children's willingness to go to school. Specifically divided into Hypothesis 1A, the impact of providing living allowances on left-behind children's willingness to go to school is positive. Hypothesis 1B, the influences of supporting education policy on left-behind children's willingness is positive. In rural areas of China, the resources and information obtained by public education are limited. Off-campus consulting and internet teaching have expanded the e-learning channels, helping children and parents to obtain more learning resources and information, and the resources and information for further studies can also be obtained in the process of participating. It makes up for the limited quality of public educational resources. According to the welfare triangle theory, the market provides commercial social welfare. The after-school tutoring responds to the market-oriented welfare of education welfare. Therefore, the study believes that after-school tutoring is positively related to the left-behind children's willingness to go to school and makes the following assumptions. Hypothesis 2. Compared with the left-behind children who don't take part in tutoring, the left-behind children who take part in tutoring are more willing to go to school. Among family factors, parents' educational level and economic income will affect their willingness to go to school. Parents have higher educational level, attach greater importance to education, and have higher expectation for children's further studies. The higher the family economic level, the higher the parents' willingness to spend on education, and the higher the children's willingness to continue their studies. Therefore, the study believes that family factors are positively related to the left-behind children's willingness to go to school and makes the following assumptions. Hypothesis 3. Family factors have a positive impact on rural parents' educational expectation. The more parents invest in their children's education, the higher the left-behind children's willingness to go to school. Now, the last part is part 4, research methodology. The data source. Our data contains 112 schools with 438 classes. The research uses the survey data of parents in junior middle school. A total of 19,007 questionnaires were obtained from parents in junior middle school. Variable description. Dependent variable. Left behind children's willingness to go to school, CEPS asked parents about what level do you want your children to read, and options were set as don't read now, graduate from junior high school, technical secondary school, vocational high school, ordinary high school, college, undergraduate, postgraduate, and doctor. We reassign each option to generate educational expectation variables. Independent variables. Market, family, and national policy. The market is measured by whether the children participate in the tutoring. Family is measured by parents' educational level and the family economic level. National policies are measured by whether or not they enjoy welfare policies. Okay, the last part is the research method. In this study, data floating is used as a data analysis tool. The statistical model uses a logic regression model to analyze the influencing factors of rural left behind children's willingness to go to school. That's all for our proposal. Thank you very much.